Jeanne. I'm trying to unmute you now. Hi, Jeanne, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Guys, this is Jeanne Velasco, and I really love and appreciate Jeanne so much. I've been working with Jeanne for a few years now, and she had something pretty remarkable happen today, and she did something remarkable that I'm going to share with you guys in a little bit as well. But you know, I'm not paying her in any way, shape, or form. She just said that she wants to pay it forward, and she is just like, she's anything that you feel like, you know, I can do to help out the PBR members, like I want to be able to do that for you. I want to be able to pay it forward and help them out. So that's why Jeanne is here. So, and then while she's talking, guys, if you guys have any questions for her, dump them into the chat box because I want to be able to ask her those questions. And we'll keep this really short. But Jeanne, thank you for doing this once again. We talked recently, and I just wanted to ask you a few questions and see if you might share your experience with the folks. But so, you know, you obviously ended up using PBR, but would you mind kind of sharing with us a little bit what the backstory is for before you even came on board the PBR? Like, what were you using before? Why were you using it? Like, what wasn't working for you?
Yeah, sure. So I actually took this test like 5 times. So I failed 4 times before. So the first couple of times I took it, I was using MedStudy. And I used MedStudy because when in residency, they provided us with the MedStudy books, and that's what everybody was using in my residency. So I actually went through the MedStudy book. I went through like the live course in Dallas. But for me, it was like very overwhelming because like in addition to the book, I ended up going home with a big binder. And it was information overload, and I really didn't have enough time to finish the material or go over the material several times to like be familiar with the material.
And then eventually you ended up finding PBR. How did you end up finding PBR?
So I found out about PBR from my friends who also previously failed. So one of them actually was my study partner when we were using the MedStudy. So she ended up passing using the PBR. So that's how I found out about PBR.
And the first time that you took the boards with MedStudy, if you don't mind sharing, what was your score?
So the very first time with MedStudy, my score was 178.
Okay, and then after that, your lowest score still using MedStudy was?
160.
160. Okay, so then you came over to PBR and you actually went to the live test taking strategies course and the full PBR system in 2018, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So tell me about what happened in 2018 and 2019.
So 2018, I went to PBR, went to live test taking strategies course, but I really wasn't like 100%, so I was still kind of like using both. PBR and MedStudy. I also like the MedStudy flashcards. So my score did go up from 160 to 172. But again, like it wasn't enough to pass. But again, like I wasn't like fully committed to the PBR method that time. I'm still kind of doing my own thing.
And then in 2019, you decided, you know what? She said he was going to help me pass, and fine, I wasn't completely on board, and he helped me increase my score to 172. But I'm going to go back to MedStudy. And then in 2019, use MedStudy again, right?
Yeah. So 2019, like, yeah, I was like, well, whatever, it wasn't working, so I'm gonna change what I was doing. So yes, I used MedStudy again, and then mostly like prep questions. So I got like a 168 in 2019.
And then tell me about 2020.
All right, so 2020, I had a lot on the line in 2020 because that was my last year that I have my eligibility. So I would have lost my eligibility if I didn't pass. The other thing is I work for an academic institution, so my job is on the line. It was like really scary with, you know, one of the things I was worried about is like, you know, my family's financial security. So there's a lot of pressure. So I was like, oh crap, what am I gonna do? I really need to buckle down and then find something that's gonna work for me. So I knew, like my friends who really like did the med study, and I meant not medicine, PBR, and um, went through the program and did what Ashish did. They passed, so I was like, okay, fine. I'm gonna go, full on PBR, and that's what I'm gonna use.
And then in December, you signed up for the March live test taking strategies course, which I'm so happy that I was able to see you again in Atlanta. So that was good. And then in December, you signed up for the March live test taking strategies course. So that was exactly a year ago right now.
Right.
You did something that no other PBR member has ever done. And you did this, I think you secured this in December of last year. Tell folks what you ended up deciding in December of last year.
So I said I was gonna, like do the live test taking strategies course twice.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I was like,
I was
I really like, yeah. I was like really looking for something that like like it would work, and I was like, I was like 100% committed. I was like, if I was gonna do this, I'm gonna be all in. I'm gonna be 100% committed. I'm gonna do everything what she told me.
so then you came in March and tell me what the March experience was like. So so tell me about yeah, just tell me a little bit about what your not just the March experience, actually the 2020 experience in terms of test taking strategy, course number 1, and then you studied, and course number 2, was even coming the second time worth it? Was it not worth it? Things like that.
Yeah, so course number 1 in March was good for me because I also found people and I met people to form a study group with. I guess like the past year, one of the things that I was feeling really isolated. I really didn't like reach out to anybody. So I was like I was studying on my own. I was trying to like just do my own thing. But like through the live test taking, I was able to connect with people because we were processing questions together. So I was like, okay, I can work with these people and they can be like my accountability partner. So that's what really helped. And then going through the live test taking again, it also helped solidify a lot of the test taking techniques for me. I actually like saw like my scores like really like improving after like the second course. Like before I was like when I was like doing prep questions, I would like score like 60s, even sometimes 50s. But like after the second one, like when like I was going through the book and then going through like the questions after the second test taking strategies, like I was like solidly like scoring 70s in prep. So I was like, okay, I'm doing something right.
Wow, that's amazing. I've never even thought of having somebody come to the course 2 times in the same test season. Do you have any advice? I don't know, for not even advice. I guess I'm just curious from my own perspective. What do you think was different about the second time around? What was different between like the first time around and the second time around? Was it I presented the material different? Was it similar material, but was it just that there was so much information the first time, and the second time you were able to actually like finally wrap your head around all of it and start to pick out some of the additional nuggets? Like, what do you think it was?
I think the second time, I guess like the first time I was still kind of like learning like the test taking strategies. Like the second time I think it's like, okay, like I know the basics. I can like hone in on like the little more nuggets and yeah, it's just like for me it's just collective, like okay, I can do this. And I know like after the second time, like even if when I was doing the some practice questions that are not familiar, I was more confident that okay, I can do this just using the test taking strategies.
Awesome. And the results were?
So I went from 168 the year before, and I went to 188. So my score went up to 20 points. So
After
and I
4 failed
finally passed.
attempts.
Yeah, after
After
four failed
4 failed
attempts.
attempts. Good
Yeah.
job. Good job, Jeanne. That is so awesome. Thank you so much. I was just listening to you talking initially and talking about what this exam meant for you, right? And how big of a year this was. And sometimes that gets kind of lost on me until like I hear somebody say the words out loud or like I read something in a specific way. But it's a big deal. And I really, really appreciate you putting your faith in me, putting your faith in PBR, and putting that, I don't know about responsibility on me. I don't like to have too much responsibility on me, but I appreciate you putting your faith in me and in PBR to help you get through this.
No, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, like this for me, it's really like life changing. Like after all the failures, it's like I'm finally like done with this. I just thank you so much for all your help and your support. Really, you were tough, but I needed your tough love, and like I finally passed. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. What kind of tough love did I give you? Remind me. I remember having some heart to hearts being like, Jeanne,
Yeah,
girl,
so
you're coming twice. You're coming twice. We got to get you this pass. Like,
I
what
know.
else?
And then the other thing is that, so one of the things that I was like struggling with is test anxiety. So I know like the very beginning you're like, well, have you thought about propanolol? I was like, yeah. And then like I would actually dread like the phone calls with you because I'm like, oh my gosh, like he's gonna ask me again. So I actually finally like took your advice. I went through my PCP. I got prescription for propanolol, which is like again a tremendous help. So
Awesome. Very cool. All right, Jeanne. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you spending this time with us. Let me see. Does anybody have any questions? If not, then we'll let Jeanne go. I think they've just been enjoying it. So Dr. Pete A is saying, thank you for sharing your incredible story. How many times did you go through the book? Oh yeah, how many times did you end up going through the resources this time?
So I went through the book 5 times.
Awesome, cool. So you did exactly what I asked you to, and you did it in a very methodical way this time. And how many questions did you end up going through, and which question banks did you end up using?
So I ended up doing 2,400 questions, and that includes 2 half mock exams that are timed. And question banks, I did prep. I did 2019 and 2020 prep. I did med study, board vitals, and exam master.
Good job. Did you use that thing that I gave you to track your progress?
Yeah.
Good job. Good job. What a student. VIP student over here. Okay, good. Another question. Did you say that you had a 178? What was your first score with med study?
The first score was 178. That's like right after finishing residency.
Got it. Yep, that's the best chance. So first score was 178. What other questions are here? Which Q bank do you feel helped you the most?
I think, like Ashish tells us, like, like you do different question banks, so you get like I guess like different personalities of questions, which that one helped me. Like I would say like that's why all of them helped me. But I guess like my gold standard is prep, because like like if I in my mind, if I can like score 70s in prep, I'm doing pretty good. I like med study because the med study questions are, the format is similar to the exam. So I would say, I guess like prep and med study.
You should be leading this webinar because I know you just joined on, but I was saying some of this exact, you guys, she's such a good student. She was such a good student this year. It makes me so proud. Okay, anybody else? All right, I think that's it. All right, Jeanne. Well, thank you once again. I appreciate it. And I'll be in touch. We might have you back on later in the year for another round, because I'm sure that a lot of folks right now, they can't even think about the boards, and they're probably going to come in later on and they need to hear this, and they need to hear your story, and they need to hear the kind of hard work and dedication and the sacrifice and the time investment, the energy investment, the financial investment, that it takes sometimes to pass this thing. So thank you for sharing your story with us.
Yeah, you're welcome. And yeah, and again, thank you so much. And then for you guys, like I know it sucks this year. It sucks failing. I've been in your shoes like exactly a year ago. But like just like remember, you're capable of passing this test, and also like if you guys are having like second doubts, like I can say like PBR works, but you have to be committed and like really commit to the program. So good luck to you guys.
Thank you, Jeanne. All right, take care, Jeanne.
All right.
Bye-bye.